What's up everybody, welcome back to another drawing tutorial. So today we got an animal, a wolf puppy. So done lots of wolves, they're very popular. This time we're going to do a pup, a cub or a pup. Could be like a husky as well, you know, because they're kind of similar. So if you're looking to draw a husky, this is a husky puppy. This is probably a similar way. So we got a 2-for-1 today for you. Right, so we're going to start with the eyes. I'm on landscape paper, pencil eraser for these, sketch it out lightly. And hit pause if I move too fast, right, when I move my hand. Try my best to move the hand out of the way, okay? So we start with the eyes. So more sort of roundish sort of eyes than the adult wolf, right? So yeah, so let's go. So we're just gonna do a big sort of curving arch like that, right? And it kind of flicks out the side here, and then we sort of thicken this up, right? So it's kind of like thicker on top, like here. It's like real dark. They've got this dark black skin around their eyes. Like adults have it as well, as far as I know. We're just gonna so kind of this kind of thing. And then, so this kind of curves down, so kind of like a little bit more just into here, right? And then the bottom eyelid will come around from there, okay? So it like comes around and then goes up towards this corner again, up this way, and out to here. So we've got this little spike that sticks off the end, and then we darken this up as well, right? So this is like another sort of big eyelid or black sort of section of skin down here. Right, kind of like this. So then the eye itself, right, they've got like a big iris, big round. You can just see the corner of it there. And maybe a little bit of it on the other side, just around here. So imagine like a big round circle, just like that. And then the pupil sort of in the center. Sometimes they can be like cross-eyed and stuff, you know, their muscles in their eyes aren't fully developed. But we'll put it in the middle, just for sake of keeping things simple. Because I think in the picture I'm drawn from, like his eyes are like going like off that way. But he's only a puppy, we won't go too hard on him. So like a line for the nose maybe coming down here, okay? And if you're looking for a bit more like detail and stuff in eyes, like you can add sort of you know, a circle highlight like that. You can even shadow up the top eyelid here, you know, if you want, you know, just a little bit of hatching lines. It's not essential, you know. You could just color that darker, obviously, if you didn't want to use ink. But I'll just do a little bit like that. Another way of adding a highlight is to use white paint or some sort of white substance and to just dip it on top after you color. Top tip, right? The eyes, the other eye, is about 1-2 eye distance across, say. So one eye with the width, go once, twice, and then his other eye will start sort of similar, right? So starting about there. You can fit approximately about 2 eyes across. And then we'll go up and over, right? So about the same level, and then we go around. We do sort of the same thing again. Right, just big curving. Now they don't have to be exactly the same. Most things in nature aren't perfectly symmetrical, right? So eyes can be, one can be a little bit bigger than the other, a little bit more round, a little bit more skinny. So don't beat yourself up if it's not exactly the same. Then we curve this around. Maybe add just a little bit extra down here. So then again, bottom eyelid. Right, so we're gonna go just around the bottom, big curving line up to this corner, and then we'll thicken it up. right? And then the eye on the inside, again, big circle, but we can just see the sides kind of on the edge of the eye. Right, like so, and then the pupil in the middle, like that, and maybe a highlight and some hatching or some shading just on top. Right, something like that. Okay, so we'll go for the nose now. So in dogs and animals like this, right? When they're looking straight forward, the width between the eyes will bring you down to where the middle of the nose is, right? So like the center of his nose, depends on their head pose, but usually here to here will bring you to the middle of the nose, right? It's a good rule of thumb. So you've got this sort of equal triangle going here, right? So if that's the middle of his nose, we'll just, what do we do? So we'll add just a little line coming down here, say the middle. And it'll bring us to a little arrow that points down, right? Just an arrow here. So that's like the bottom of his nose. So, here's my other, sorry, I'm not moving images. Yeah, okay, so then, say coming around from this, so we'll just do the bottom of his nose coming around here. Comes up the side, right? Like that. So big wide noses. Look like that somewhere. Okay. And then the nostrils are about here, level with this part of the nose. And what that means, we've got like this little curved line that comes out the side of the dog's nose, right? Comes up and then goes around like this, right? So we've got this like skin flap that just goes up and across to here. And then our nostrils, well, not our nostrils, the dog's nostrils, or the wolf's nostrils are in here, curve around and back into this corner here. And you can color these in completely dark, or you can just shade them. So depending on how much detail or stuff you want. So you can either color it all in black, or you can add like hatching or, you know, like stuff like that, or partially black. And then we can just add maybe like a little line just coming across the top, like some hatching along the side, and then a line for like the tip of the nose here. And maybe some details coming around the nostrils, like some light sort of lines like so. You know, little touches like this can be helpful. Okay, so his snout, so his mouth is open, right, and he's got sort of like a little tongue sticking out, right? So it comes around from the bottom of the nose, it comes around here, and it can be a kind of a hairy kind of line if you want, right? And it just comes up the side of his mouth there, okay? And something similar here, like a hatching sort of scribbly line. You can do a straight line if you prefer, like smooth, but I'll just try and make it look a little bit hairy. Okay, so the mouth just kind of curves around like this. And then the tongue sticks out here. We've got a line coming down the middle. Maybe a couple of lines just for the edge. Like that. And then he's got more of that black skin, like the eye, right? So coming around from the corners of his mouth, say here, maybe a little bit like dangling over on this side. Just going under the tongue, maybe a tiny bit over here as well. Like that. You can color this black. It's just the easiest way to go with it. So in terms of a bottom jaw, right, there's not a lot going on, right? He's a tiny little furry sort of bottom part to his chin and jaw, but he's so much fur, right? So we can see like a little bit of the chin like coming out here. It's a real hairy kind of thing coming around like so. And it just tends to kind of disappear going up into the corner of his mouth here. There's nothing major. Right, like that. That's about it for his bottom jaw, right? So he's a big ball of fur. So, and we have some lines just for a snout, like tiny little bit, like, so like the bridge of his nose will kind of go up towards his eyes, right? So the sides here, so you can just add some sort of hatching just up to the corner of his eyes. Light lines now, you don't want to do a hard line for this because it's more sort of lightly drawn in. Like so, and then maybe like the side of his snout just comes up a little bit up here, like this round sort of. You just want to do light lines. Like it's amazing what a little dash will do, or like just little stuff like that. You know, you don't really have to do much in terms of that. And then he may have, you know, some of those little sort of whisker lines coming out around here. Right, like so. I might put a little bit of a shadow just underneath his tongue, just here. Okay, so now there's a few more details around his eyes, right? So he's got these big sort of bumping white sections coming around his eye here, right? So he's got like a little sort of eyebrow sort of area, and it's hairy again. It comes around like so. And goes into there. And then like some more hair coming out the corners here. Right, and this can have some hair on the inside, texture. Like that, and then he's got like an eyelid line or something here. Like a furry one. Coming around there, and maybe a line just around his eye like so. Something down here, and then like a big puffy section, like puffy bit of fur coming around here as well. Okay, so already bringing his sort of eye to life there. Right, and we do the same thing over here. So coming up from just the inside of his eye, furry, like this, right? Just a hairy sort of, it's like a wing. It looks like an angel's wing or something. It's got these little patches and hair and stuff on the inside, right? Just these little dots and dashes. And then his eyelid comes around like so. Little line across the top, a little line across the bottom, and then a big puffy section on the bottom, like so. Right. Maybe a line around the corner of his mouth here. Okay. Now, seems to have a dark patch going right up the middle, so like, or a lighter patch. So it's like dark gray just around the top of his head, and then he's like all white fur. So there's like a little, you can add just a little sort of section just to separate that, a light line coming off the center here, and it like comes off his forehead just there, right? So this is the top of his head, right? And so if you're looking for the distance up to the top of his head, I'd say eyes to the top of his head is about the same as eyes to, say, just below, say, his tongue. Say if his mouth was closed, you want the eyes to be about halfway between the top of the head and his chin, but his mouth is open, right? So that means that distance a bit bigger. So here to here is about the same as eye to where his chin would be if his mouth was closed, kind of just below his top lip, okay? So your eyes are halfway between here and here. So that's how big you want his forehead to be from the eyes, okay? Just if you're wondering about proportions and stuff. So then we will go this way towards the ears. So we're a big furry line again, right? And the ear will stick out from here. Let's say this way. We'll do this one first, like so, and then we will bring it down this way. You add all these hairy spiking lines. And it goes into his head at some point, just where his eyebrow would be. You know, if he had a sort of eyebrow, if he was human, right? So like here. Similar over this side. All right, like so. And then up, hairy again. Like that. And so then, real big fluffy head coming all the way around, okay? So kind of we've got like a line of hair just coming down from the inside of the ear here. Right, coming down this way. And it has to be a sort of hairy line. I would recommend a hairy line. Right, and this comes out real wide and like joins his neck. So real sort of hairy, and you can do it as sketchy or as detailed as you want, right? So he's real furry, like winter, real fat, sort of, you know, because he's got that puppy fat, so he's got to survive the winters, you know. And this one will come right underneath his chin. Like so. So then after that, you can add extra details, right? So we can add, there's like another gray section sort of coming out here, right? On his forehead. It's kind of like gray. Like in here is gray, right? So you can draw that in if you'd like. And then there may be like some extra like folds of fur, basically. A hatching line would be enough for this, like a line like this, like some dashes, just to show he's got a little sort of face in there somewhere. What is it about puppies, huh? Why did they just make you smile? Look at his little face. What is it? So cute. Right, and then detail that up as much as you want now. I think I'll leave it like that. I'm happy with that. You put a bit of grey colour in there, the rest white. Right, so his ears. So he's got like a furry patch, hairy, coming up here, right? And it's like it'll be all dark hatching inside here. Just a sort of a darker section inside the center of his ear, right? And there may be like a rim line or an edge just coming down here. And as much sort of fur then going this way. So we just can add like a spiking furry section maybe. Yeah, and then just darken this up, make it look like a bit more like shadow. Okay, I think that'll do, and we'll go around the other side. So another sort of hairy section up there. And like you got to sort of darken this up inside. Just a little bit, it doesn't have to be major. Then just some texture stuff around. Right, and then so his neck. So we can just see like his neck's real, like his neck and his chin sort of fur are like nearly one. Okay, so you'll just like start the neck here, right? And it's real sort of puffy, kind of going in different directions, you know, down, up, like so. All the way down like that, and then we could have like some extra little fur lines just coming down across here. Right, but yeah, it's kind of up to you how much of this you want, this sort of extra fur you want to put in. Right, but I think I'll leave it there. That's how to draw a wolf puppy. Hope it was helpful, guys. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.